Welcome to Daily 5 for Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Last week, NetherRealms, I believe is... It's NetherRealms, not NetherRealms, sorry. NetherRealms Studios released their trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, which is a reboot of the Mortal Kombat series after the events of Mortal Kombat 11. Now, I played the first three Mortal Kombat games... back when they were out on their original system, so a very long time ago. And after the third one, honestly, I kind of lost interest. I sort of got what I needed out of the series. It sort of felt like it didn't have much of anywhere to go, and I just kind of forgot about it because it's not like I've ever had a real affinity for basically versus fighting games. Especially back then, the story wasn't exactly that great. There was a story mode, but it certainly wasn't all that fleshed out. And now you can make the argument that maybe it still isn't, but there is a lot more story. At least I don't remember what got me to pick up 11, but I had read that it actually had a pretty robust story mode and that there were some, like the crypt mode was interesting. So I picked it up, and I have to admit, I ended up liking it a lot more than I got it for almost nothing. It was on a huge discount when I picked it up. And so I got it, and I thought, maybe I'll play it a little bit, and, it'll be a couple hours of entertainment or whatever, or, maybe a day or two. But then my wife actually started to like to play it with me, although she kind of lost interest because she was never into fighting games. So some of the move sets and stuff were kind of difficult to pick up, but we would play and just have a good time. And honestly, I had a great time with the story mode. I was shockingly invested in a game series that I hadn't played in... Well, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 7. I hadn't played 7 iterations between 3, at least. It doesn't even count the spin-offs. I hadn't played 7 iterations of this game series, came back to it with 11, and really fell in love with it again. I had a great time with it. I thought that, the over-the-top fatalities are all right. They've gone from being gross to just being funny at this point. They really are very funny. And I thought the story mode was really good. I loved all the characters coming back, different versions of the characters. And then the game ends with essentially a timeline reset. And so going back to the number 1, I think actually makes complete sense. Number 1 is just easier to follow. And it allows people to just jump on board now with this kind of new version of Mortal Kombat and not have to worry about all the story that came before, which... From what I read, the story's been reset more than once, so this is not exactly unusual anyway, but I like the fact that they're restarting the numbering too, because honestly, at a certain point, once you get to double digits, just stop and reset it somehow, or put a year on it. It's almost stupid to have numbers. You might as well just call it Mortal Kombat 2023 and just leave it at that, because that way you know when it's from. The numbering doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always take account for, again, like there was a Sub-Zero game, Mythologies or something like that. There was at least a couple of spin-off games, which I think one of them is considered canon. So would that be Mortal Kombat 5.5 or something? Yeah, it's just better to restart it. But I really hope that they keep what they had done in the basic approach, not the exact same thing. But I hope a lot of what I liked about Mortal Kombat 11 shows up in 1, because I have to admit, I replayed that game with multiple characters to get the endings because I was genuinely interested, and I thought that the game did a really good job with the story, which is not something. Honestly, you go back 5-6 years and say to me, you think there'll ever be a Mortal Kombat game with a really good story? And I would have been like, yeah, probably not, because so far I haven't seen anything that was all that interesting, which isn't to say that there haven't been games in the series that had good stories, but it's just not something that really ever caught me because I'd seen a couple of the other ones. But for whatever reason, 11 landed just right with me and has me now, however many years after 3. Up to 11. So a couple of years ago is when I played 11. But that gulf of time has now been overcome. And I really cannot, to the point where I'd almost pre-order, except I already know there's going to be a whole bunch of characters that will come later and I'll just wait for it. But I am legitimately excited and hopeful to play Mortal Kombat 1 because 11 was really good. If you haven't never played 11, you were like me and left the series for a long time, you might want to try it because it's actually it's a blast. It's just a fun, silly, gory, almost like an 80s Italian slasher film type of game that really can't be taken seriously, but is all the better if you don't take it seriously and just go along for the popcorn ride. So Mortal Kombat 1, again, something I never would have expected to say if you'd gone back and asked me even a couple of years ago. Am I excited for Mortal Kombat 1? Yes, I am, because Mortal Kombat 11 was a lot of fun, so I can't wait to see what they do with 1 later.